Hello everybody, welcome to Game 3 of Texmix versus Kobe right now. Texmix spawning as the pink Protoss in the right side, I guess, versus Kobe spawning as the orange Protoss in the left side. I am here casting with Achaia, a good friend of mine, and our sponsors are Top Ace and Ambient Replays. Ambient Replays is also a good friend of mine and a fellow caster. Please go check out his channel at in the description. Achaia, what's up?
Hey, not much, man. I'm excited to see how this match resolves here because we are in the ace match between Texmix and Kobe. Both games have been pretty interesting so far, although Texmix opening up with that cannon rush strategy on both games, and Kobe wasn't having it last game, managing to tie the series up with 1-1, which of course brings us to this ace match here. And Scrap Station is a map, I don't know about the rest of the games, but all the games I've seen from the tournament so far, I have not seen a lot of scrap stations. So I'm excited to see this map getting in the mix. What do you expect on this map as far as strategies for this PvP matchup?
I'm kind of curious why Scrap Station was chose. I think Scrap Station is more of a Terran map in my opinion, although I really have not played much 1v1s on Scrap Station. But I think that the narrow choke, at least in the center between the two bases, really allows for good Terran play. And Planetary Fortresses on this map, after the natural expo, actually are really easy to defend because it's fairly linear and it's really hard to flank a Terran mech player. But anyway, enough about Terrans. Right now, it looks like Texmix is going to go play legitimately this time with a single gateway. He's opting to build his buildings near the choke compared to Kobe, who is building near the near his nexus right now. And I think this is because Texmix wants to get his gateway or his zealots out a little bit faster, although that kind of advantage is really insignificant. I think. I don't really know, actually. Kai, any thoughts?
No, I mean, other than possibly just narrowing down the amount of space at the entrance to his base, obviously a lot of Protoss players that we've seen, they like to block off as much of their ramp as possible and then basically just fill the gaps with zealots on the front lines and then possibly putting stalkers and sentries behind them, which, you know, makes it a lot easier for Protoss to defend in a narrow choke rather than leaving their ramp wide open, which is exactly what Texmix is doing. He's trying to keep that choke nice and small so that he can defend it easily, whereas Kobe's still leaving his ramp relatively wide open, which will let units get into his base quicker, but that also allows him to defend his mineral line a little bit better too. So I guess there's pros and cons to each way, so...
Yeah, I think also these putting your gateway near the ramp and pylon near the ramp makes it a little bit more difficult to scout if you do have a wall off with zealots, or not a full wall off actually, but just one zealot maybe on the bottom side and then a stalker on the top side. That'll basically prevent all scouting with probes at least. And yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Kobe just lost one of his scouting probes. He sent a second probe out to scout, and there's actually a third one on the way. I'm not sure why he's actually committing so many probes here. Maybe he's just looking. You can see the second probe that's just now moving by the Zelnaga and leaving it has actually got a ton of waypoints. So he is perhaps looking for some kind of proxy cheese strategy from Texmix, since he has tried to do a bit of a cheesy cannon rush both games so far. But as you mentioned, it looks like Texmix going to play a little bit more straight up. He does have a couple zealots out on the map and is already moving on his way over to Kobe's base. Going to put on some early pressure with those first couple zealots.
Yeah, I think he's just putting out one zealot right now, and Kobe's stalker and zealot will actually be able to do great work of Texmix's zealot. And I think the whole point of this was so that Texmix's probe could sneak by, and it does look like that Texmix's probe is going to sneak by. Going to put down a pylon at the end of his, I don't know what that's called, but it's somewhere inside the natural, I guess, because it's fairly close and it's kind of walled off with a destructible degree. Another zealot coming in. That zealot is going to be taken down right now. Not sure why he did that, but I think Kobe did spot that probe that did went in, and so he is coming now. He's gonna make sure Texmix does not do any more Protoss shenanigans. I'm sure Kobe is fuming right now, or fuming just to make sure. God damn it! Ah, Sorry about that, guys. My mom came in, actually, and she was threatening to unplug my internet, so I had to go deal with her. But right now, we are back, and Kobe did take out Texmix's proxy pylon and his probes. So Texmix right now kind of in the red. He's lost 250 minerals, and Kobe has only lost three workers. And right now, it looks like Kobe does have an immortal out. He is going 2 warp gate, 1 immortal, and Texmix looks like hiding a starport in the top left position. So now I think there's a greater reason for doing a semi wall off, as it does make scouting with a probe very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing to notice too is he actually also has a Twilight Council. So we'll see if he actually tries to get some kind of blink or charge upgrade from there, or he may be even moving to the High Templar tech. If he can get some DTs out, he can possibly catch his opponent off guard. As you mentioned, with that semi-wall off, he will be able to defend from scouting a little bit easier, and possibly be able to keep that tech hidden for long enough that he can actually catch his enemy by surprise. So we'll see exactly what he does once that Twilight Council's finished, which it looks like it just finished, and I don't see any Templar buildings going down of any kind. There's no Dark Shrine and there's no Templar, but there is an observer in the base of Texmix, so Kobe's going to have a good idea of what's going on, although he still has not scouted the tech that's hidden in the back of his base yet, although he does just now see the Void Ray, so he is going to be aware of the Void Rays on the map.
What's really interesting is that Texmix is opting for Blink Stalkers and Void Ray, so kind of a double two-pronged tech, and this is going to be very it'll pay off very well if Kobe is not prepared for it, but since Kobe does scout this out right now, he's actually moving out with quite a large army. Looking at the army size, Kobe almost has I think 30 to 40% larger in resources and army-wise right now, and that Void Ray, although very strong against Protoss ground units that cannot attack air, like the Zealot and especially the Immortal, I'm just not sure if that if Kobe or Texmix will be able to hold this off. It really just comes down to who focuses what units first, and it looks like Texmix is going to be moving out with 4 Stalkers, 2 Void Rays, and 1 Zealot. Kobe picking off 1 Zealot very quickly right now. Texmix is attacking his Cybernetics Core. I think that was a little bit of a mismarker in there, but right now Texmix is focusing down the anti-air units, and those Stalkers go down very quickly, fairly quickly, sorry, and due to the good micro of the Texmix, yes, that's right, of the Texmix, he actually blinked back his Stalkers to avoid some further damage, and Kobe does manage to kill one of his gateways, although I do not think that will cause that much damage, as Texmix right now is putting down 3 more gateways. Texmix is like, I don't care if you take out 1 gateway, I'll put down 3 more, and anyway, looking at the army size right now, army size, there you go. Texmix is now slightly ahead with his armies. He does have the 2 Void Rays, and I think Kobe is putting down photon cannons in the back of his round line. So Kobe reacting very quickly and able to deal with the Void Rays for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. I just noticed that as well, and I'm kind of surprised Texmix did not immediately take those 2 Void Rays over to the mineral lines of Kobe, because obviously he took out all the Stalkers that he had at the time on that offensive, and also there was no anti-air defense. There was no cannons back there once he first held that attack off. So once he held that attack off, I would have liked to see him counterattack with those Void Rays. Did you just see
Texmix's Void Rays killed the pylon?
I did not see that. Do you have any idea why he did that?
I think he was trying to blink over to the island expansion, and I think that was his whole idea, was get the Void Rays to get the site over to the island expansion and blink over. But in one of the recent patches, actually, they prevented Stalkers from blinking over impassable ground by land units, and I think he killed the pylon because he thought that if he killed that pylon, it was actually blocking a distance that was a little bit closer. So I think that if he thought he killed the pylon, he would have been able to blink over, but that is certainly not the case anymore. And he is moving out with 5 Stalkers, 1 Zealot, and 3 Void Rays.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you mention it, I do remember him talking to me about this game, because he mentioned that he was trying to blink over that, because back in the Wrath of the Xel'Naga tournament, I had actually mentioned that in one of my casts, and apparently he watched that cast before the finals, and he actually pulled that tactic out on the finals and said that he pulled it out because I reminded him of it when he watched that cast. But anyways, it looks like he tried to go for it again, and that was obviously not able to happen because, as you mentioned, with the recent patch, they took the ability away to blink over impassable terrain. So, but it looks like Texmix going to move up and continue to put some pressure on. There are a lot of anti-air units, though, in the army mix for Kobe, and it looks like he is going to let those Phoenix focus on the Void Rays for the time being, trying to micro those Void Rays a little bit. One of them goes down already, 2 of them goes down now, and it looks like Texmix is definitely going to get the short end of this stick as he loses his whole army against this Protoss army from Kobe. And Kobe looks like he may be moving out to counterattack Texmix right now. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I can't tell. He's dancing around too much. I don't know if he's leaving or staying.
No, the Void Ray just died. Yeah, I think Kobe was trying to hunt down that last Void Ray. Now Texmix, looking at the army discrepancy, there is a huge army difference right now. Kobe has 650 up in gas, and was almost double the army. Double the mineral cost. Right now, Texmix warping and a ton more Zealots with charge. Those Zealots are good against every single unit that Kobe has in his army right now, assuming that the sentries do not do any critical force fields, and it does not look like the Sentry has enough energy to do even one force field. So those Zealots with charge are going to be able to go to work on that Protoss mech army. That Protoss mech army is falling easily to those Zealots because Zealots with charge are extremely good against almost everything except for Colossus and things that the Zealot cannot attack right now. Those Zealots are going to be able to drive that the Protoss mech army back. Kobe trying to do a little bit of cheeky micro with the Phoenixes, picking up one Zealot at a time, not really accomplishing too much and just taking damage from his own units. But right now we have Texmix trying to chase back the units right now, and if you actually notice, Texmix had one Zealot in front of the Immortal and two Zealots in the back, and charge was on cooldown. Now what he could have done is this is from my Dota experience, but he could have just used that one Zealot and repeatedly press stop and allow the pathing of the Immortal to just constantly get stuck and slow down the Immortal speed, and I think he would have been able to pick out that Immortal.